All right, welcome back. On RealCopStoriesVideos.com, right about 380 cop stories. Please look them up. They're all my babies. Exploding bodies, foot pursuits, a lot of ice, a lot of gross alert ones. You'll love them all. I love them all. Of course they are. They're mine. Okay. In addition to that, over 200 question and answers. If you want to ask me a question, which we're going to do right now, I'm going to answer a question. Email me at rsbcopstories@gmail.com. I'll answer you directly, and then we'll do it on video. I'm doing it on video now. Someone gave me a question about how the rank structure and how you go up the rank as a policeman and detective or sergeant. And it's gonna be a long one, but why not? I got what I got to do. Okay, I'm retired. I'll give you what I got here, and maybe you'll learn something on this. Anyway, so the rank structure is this. Now I'm talking about the old days. Now that's pretty much the same, except now in the old days, as soon as you got the first day at the academy, when you showed up the first day, you were working for the city and getting a salary. Apparently now, you don't get a salary until you graduate from the academy. I think that's what it is now. I think you're there on a voluntary basis. I'm not sure. There's some kind of a weird thing there, because if you get hurt there, they have to cover you, but then they're not paying you. It's a weird, I'm not really sure. I won't quote me on that. I'm just telling you what I did when I went through. Okay, so you graduate from the academy, 6 months in the academy, and you're out 6 months on probation. Okay, you were considered a policeman 1. In other words, the lowest of the lowest. And we used to make jokes because everybody has serial numbers. And when you come out of the academy, there's a list. There's a transfer list for the whole department. People going everywhere, making detective in all these ranks. And then they have the last page is the guys out of the academy, listed alphabetically. And they have and so the last guy, if his last name is W or Z or something X, that's the highest serial number. He's the Buddhist guy of 9,000 cops. Okay, because we all go by serial numbers, and obviously the highest serial number, the more number of boots you are. So we used to make jokes and look at that transfer and go, hey, we should. And some guys were even calling these guys like Cepeda or Williams and say, hey, congratulations, the guy, thank you. And by the way, you're the last senior guy on the police department, 9,000 cops. They used to make jokes about that. Then they told people not to do that. Don't be doing, because they're all recruits out of the academy. They have no control. Everybody starts somewhere. Okay. Anyway, so you come out there and now you're a policeman 1. You're basically, and you work as a probationer for 6 months. And then when you finish your 6 months, that's 1 year total. Then just like by automatic, you get a 5% pay raise, and you become a policeman 2. Now the running joke is, not joke, but the running statements is that most of the work on the police department is done by what they call P2 dogs. Most of the ranks in the field are policemen 2. They're all out there, patrolmen. They're guys with no stripes, some with one hash mark, which is 5 years. But they're doing the grunt work. They're the ones answering radio calls. They're the ones that are making stops. They're the ones doing most of the work. Because that's the largest pool of officers you have, is the street policeman 2 ranks. Okay, obviously for obvious reasons. I mean, they're the ones that serve and answer the calls and answer the radio call and do all that good stuff. Because remember now, when you get higher up in rank, the numbers become smaller and they do less work to the public. Okay, say that, but that's true. So so now you're policeman 2. Got a year on. And I'm not going to use me as an example on some of the stuff. Maybe I will on some of the other ones. But so now I'm out there as policeman 2. I know just enough to get by, and they usually put you with another policeman 2. With like I went with a guy that had 4 months ahead of me. We're both young, a lot of hair, flat stomachs, physically fit, and basically just young guys. Okay, and so I was 24 when I came out as a P1 or P2. And my partner was like 25. So we're young guys. Working in our division, and we're the grunts. We're doing all the work. Working deuce watch, along with, every roll call had like 40 guys in it. And the 40 guys at roll call, probably 25 were P2s, the grunts, and the other 15 were training officers, policemen that trained recruits. And anyway, so that's the number. That's the ratio. Is a huge number of policemen too. Nothing, nothing to make that rank. You just serve your year total, and you're on. They could get promoted to P2. Along with being a permanent officer. Some guys didn't make it. Some guys go through, at the end of probation, they do something stupid, or they find out from their background they had a pot conviction, or they had that whole year they can still drop you. They constantly check on you just to make sure. And in the final month, you find out you're okay, and then you become a policeman 2. No grand thing or anything. You're just permanent, which is great. Because that was, to me, every milestone. Because that was I left the Marine Corps to be a policeman. I didn't want to fail. I was not going to fail. For the respect of my parents and my dad. So anyway, now I'm a P2. So now you just do police work, whatever it takes. Random radio calls, the normal stuff you see on cops. You see all kinds of cops on TV, all these different shows. live PD, whatever. Those are P2 grunts. You can call them senior. You can call them. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. Whenever you see deputy or policeman on the TV or wherever, those are your P2 grunts. You call them. That's what we used to call them. The guys that do all the work. Okay. So you do that for a couple years, 3 years, just to get your experience. Because what's going to happen is several things are going to happen. You're going to get antsy to do other jobs. Okay. Here's what I'm saying. The next rank is policeman 3. Okay. Now policeman 3, I'll tell you how to get there in a minute, but I'll tell you why you want to try to make policeman 3, because you're going to have to actually do some things here to make it. It's not going to be automatic. Policeman 3 allows you to go inside and work inside administrative jobs, usually low person in a pole, but I'll tell you in a minute why some guys want to do that. Well, I'll tell you right now. Some guys want to do that because they came on the department to be policemen, but then they find out that maybe it's okay, but to promote and make more rank and make more money, I have to go inside and be an administrative guy with some sergeants, study for the next exam, and then go from there and then basically be an inside man for a while. I had a partner that his brother he only had 6 months in the field as a policeman, 6 months as a sergeant, and he made all the way up to captain. He hardly ever worked the street because he chose all these jobs. I'll tell you later how that works, but he chose to put some time in, go inside, study, take the next exam, study, and he just kept going, never did anything in police work, which I don't agree with that because I came on to help the public, but that's his way. He wanted to go that way, and I'll get more into that later. So right now you get antsy. And again, in our department, there's all kinds of jobs to work, but you have to be the proper rank to work them, okay? P2 dogs, just policemen. You can be dog handler, you can be on horse detail, you can be a lot of stuff as a policeman, a lot of stuff. Drunk driving watches, all this stuff. But to go inside, some jobs, to go inside, to be a vice officer, okay, to work with detectives, to train recruits, you have to be a policeman 3. Now there are make exceptions that policeman 2 can do those jobs, but that's temporary because sometimes the department's budget comes in and they have to reassign you. If you're a policeman 2 and you go inside and the budget has a crunch time, they can take you out of the inside, put you back out in the field. But if you're a policeman 3, there's more guarantee you'll stay where you're at because that position is permanent. You're filling a spot that's not movable. In other words, you can't send you back out to the field when they need it. Okay, so that's what happens. You get antsy. You in about 3.5 years of being in the field, I did too. You felt you knew most of the stuff out here. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to get the next rank so I can get nicer jobs, get more, go to gangs, go to vice, go to homicide. So that's why you want to promote. Okay, so the next level is try to get to be a policeman 3. Okay, and to get a policeman 3, you have to have, I think it's like 4 years on department, and you have to take a written exam. Okay, and the written exams, they want to get a list, is what they want to get. The department wants to get a list of qualified people. To get the list, first you have to take a written exam. And it's just like any other multiple choice exam, but it covers law, procedures, and it covers a lot of things. I told you before in my videos, our manual at the time was this thick. And about maybe a quarter of that was operational stuff that policemen do in the field. The other 3/4 is administrative and all this other junk. So you really have to study that 1/4 of that book. And then there's seminars you go to for law. Retired cops give seminars for different things because they're all going to be in the exam. And I went to one seminar, on a Saturday for 3 hours, and it covered one question in the exam. But here's the thing. Later on, I'll tell you, one question could mean 15 spots on the list that you're going to be below the guys ahead of you. So each question is important to make it, to get that question right. Okay, so take the exam. And the exams, a friend of mine was telling me right now, the exams come, I'm trying to remember, I think it comes for policemen, I think it's every 2 years, and I think sergeant and lieutenant is every 3 years, along with detective. Okay. So now you know the dates are coming. They post the dates, 2 years ahead of time. The next exam is going to be at this date, and so you send your application in to get your name in a pool, or get a name to go to a classroom to take the exam. And they take over on a Saturday. They take over almost the entire high school with 30 classrooms full of guys taking this exam, maybe more. And they usually have 2 or 3 locations: one in the valley, one downtown. I think I went to one in Hollywood because they have so many cops. I mean, you probably have, 5 or 500 guys taking the exam for a policeman. Because remember now, the largest pool is the P2s. Okay, so you take your exam, and then after the exam, once you get your scores on the exam, Then they send you a postcard, and you're going to get an oral interview, okay, for the position. So if you get the oral interview, then you're closer to, you already passed enough officers below you, because they have the list of probably, I'm guessing somewhere probably 300 or 400 out of the 500 or 600, maybe less than that, that are allowed to go take the oral interview, okay? So you get another appointment, you get your suit on, and you go in front of lieutenants, okay? And it could be anybody. They have several boards going. You know, they have, like, I went downtown to the city hall, and they must have had 5 or 6 rooms going, 3 lieutenants in each room, and just you're sitting out there, and they just randomly pick your name. You go in that room, room 4, room 5. You're going in there and taking these 15-minute orals, you know, to get on the list, okay? So, need to get on the outstanding pool. There's one, I'll tell you in a minute. Give your orals, now a list comes out. And list meaning, unlike later on, this list is going to be, you either were listed when you finished the board or you left the room. They usually put you on the outstanding pool, or the excellent pool, or the good pool. Okay. Meaning that the outstanding pool of, I don't know, 200 guys, and then the excellent pool of 150 guys, and the good is the top guys, the outstanding guys. You have to be on that pool to make the next rank. Okay, it's all weird here, but that's the way it is. And so, once you get your name in that pool, once you're outstanding, then you can start looking for assignments. And every month, there's a list comes out of all the jobs open on the police department for each rank. In other words, P3, there's like, 2.5 sheets of stuff that you can go to. You know, SWAT, you got, detectives, you got vice, all these things are in there for policeman 3. Policeman 2 can't go there because they haven't taken the test or the oral. Okay, so I hope this is clear. And so I was in the outstanding pool. Okay, so now, excellent. Okay, so I was a policeman and I really wanted to work vice. Okay, my partners had gone to vice and they said, take the test, but you got to be a policeman 3. Okay, so I took the test and I made it. So now I get to go to vice. And again, there has to be an opening in vice. You just don't go there. Okay, all these jobs, you have to have an opening because the budget allows so many positions and people move up and down the row here. They move mostly up. So you have a policeman that's a vice cop, then he's done with his vice tour, he makes sergeant, and he goes to the sergeant's whatever. Well, there's an opening for a P3. So from the outstanding pool, people apply for this position, and they take orals with the vice sergeants, and then they pick you or not pick you for the assignment. So I had to go take an oral. Well, the thing is, there's 3 vice cops in there, 2 of them I work with. So they told the supervisors, you got to pick this guy. We want him. Okay, and vice is very unique because it's a very small, it's only 4 officers and 2 supervisors. So you want to make sure everybody works in harmony with each other. Okay, so I lucked out because I worked with my 2 partners went up there, and then ironically, one of my sergeants I worked for when I was working patrol became a vice supervisor. So I had pretty much all the planets were lined up. So I went there and took an oral with the officer in charge, a really nice guy. I didn't know him, and with my old supervisor. And so it was pretty much a cakewalk. I sat there and he asked me where I lived and how far is the drive and kind of like really minor stuff. And then, do you know the officers here? Yes, I do. And it was pretty much, I found out later on, it was a done deal. Unless I went in there and, exposed myself or something, I was going to get that spot. And I kind of knew I was because, again, when you have like 4.5 years on and 5, you're ready. I mean, you're competent for that. You're ready to go. This is where I want to be. So they took me. So now I'm there working vice as a policeman 3. Okay. So that's how to get policeman 3 rank. Outstanding pool, and then you work around the jobs and stuff like that. Okay, so I'll have to stop here because I'm running out of time, and I'll see you in a little bit. Bye-bye.